Imagine building your legacy as one of the most iconic superheroes of all time, only to have it all ripped away with just a press release. Henry Cavill didn't just play Superman, he was the real-life Superman. A casting that felt like destiny, a fan base that adored him, and a franchise that should have flourished. But instead of a Man of Steel sequel, we got a corporate reboot. And instead of the return of the King, we got nothing. This is the story of how Warner Brothers and DC fumbled one of the most beloved castings in modern superhero history, and how, despite Cavill's passion, loyalty, and public support, he was blindsided, fired, and left out of the new DC universe. Let's break down exactly how it happened. Back in 2013, Henry Cavill's Superman exploded onto the big screen in Man of Steel, a grittier, more grounded take on the iconic character. The film divided critics but resonated with fans, many of whom believed Cavill was the perfect modern Superman, noble, powerful, and human beneath the cape. But what should have been the start of a legendary trilogy quickly spiraled into chaos. Instead of a proper sequel, Warner Brothers rushed into Batman vs. Superman and then Justice League. Two messy, overstuffed films that did more to damage the DCEU than build it. Cavill's Superman became an afterthought in his own universe. His screen time got slashed, his character arc got muddled, and even his mustache became a meme during the infamous Justice League reshoots. Fans begged for a Man of Steel 2. Cavill was ready. He did press, he kept the suit, he publicly said he was just waiting for the call. But the call never came. Fast forward to 2022. Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam was supposed to be a turning point. In the film's post-credits scene, Superman walks into frame. It's Cavill. The internet explodes. He's back. But it was all a lie. Because just weeks later, Warner Brothers made a move that no one saw coming. They fired Henry Cavill. No warning, no final film, just gone. Why? Enter James Gunn and Peter Safran, the new co-heads of DC Studios. They came in to clean house, and that meant restarting the entire universe. Their plan? A younger Superman, a new face, a new story. One that didn't include Cavill at all, even though the studio had just told him to announce his return. Let's be very clear.
I wanted to make it official that I am back as Superman. And the image you see on this post and what you saw in Black Adam are just a very small taste of things to come.
Cavill wasn't fired because he was difficult to work with, or because he wanted too much money. He was fired for one reason only, a total creative reboot. James Gunn confirmed it on Twitter. Our story will be focusing on an earlier part of Superman's life, so the character will not be played by Henry Cavill. Even Cavill's own goodbye message showed how blindsided he was. He wrote, "This news isn't the easiest, but that's life. My turn to wear the cape has passed." After being Superman for nearly a decade, he never got a solo sequel. He never got the closure he deserved. Warner Brothers told him to come back, only to fire him weeks later. And what did they replace him with? David Corenswet. Now that the new Superman film has officially hit theaters, we've finally seen David Corenswet step into the cape in new Superman movie. The film, directed by James Gunn, reimagines a young Clark Kent navigating life at the Daily Planet while learning what it means to be Earth's greatest protector. Corenswet's performance has earned mixed reactions. Some praising the fresh perspective, others struggling to let go of Cavill's shadow. But the debate isn't about talent. It's about timing, loyalty, and a fan base that never wanted to move on so suddenly. Yes, Corenswet delivered. But the emotional fallout of Cavill's removal still lingers. Audiences didn't just watch a new Superman, they remembered the one who never got to finish his flight. Let's not pretend this is a one-time mistake. Warner Brothers has been fumbling the DC universe for over a decade. They rushed into team-ups. They ignored fan feedback. They butchered Snyder's vision and replaced it with soulless reshoots. Then they tried to course-correct by rebooting everything. Again. Remember The Flash? Remember Wonder Woman 3? Yes, they are canceled. Ben Affleck? He is gone too. Black Adam 2? Not happening anytime soon. And now with Henry Cavill gone, the entire DCEU is essentially dead. Warner Brothers didn't just fire an actor, they nuked the entire franchise. Characters that were deeply tied to Superman, like Wonder Woman, now feel disconnected. Without Cavill, Gal Gadot's version of Diana feels stranded. Even the legitimacy of other movies like Aquaman and Shazam takes a hit when their universe is collapsing around them. The internet did not take this lightly. Fan petitions exploded. YouTube commentary went nuclear. Cavill's name trended for days, with fans accusing DC of betraying their best asset. Some even pointed out the irony of firing Cavill while still keeping Ezra Miller, who has been involved in numerous legal controversies. Even The Rock, who pushed for Cavill's return, seemed blindsided. The entire Black Adam franchise fell apart before it even began. Now that Superman movie is in theaters, the focus has shifted, but the division remains. Some fans are optimistic about the future under Gunn's leadership. Others are still mourning what was lost. And even worse, Cavill also left The Witcher, a role he fought to protect, expecting to return full-time to Superman. That's 2 major franchises gone. The saddest part? Henry Cavill loved being Superman. He read the comics. He talked about the philosophy. He fought for a more hopeful version of the character. He was a fan just like us, and he carried the weight of that cape with respect. And now, all that's left is a mess. He wasn't too old. He wasn't the problem. He was just the victim of yet another studio trying to chase a trend instead of honoring what made fans fall in love in the first place. The DCEU didn't fail because of Cavill. It failed because Warner Brothers never had a plan. And now they're asking fans to trust them again. Even with Superman movie now out, there's a vocal part of the fan base that just isn't letting go. Not out of spite, but out of loyalty. Cavill wasn't just a good Superman. For many, he was Superman. And it wasn't just his physique or his look. It was his sincerity, his respect for the source material, and the fact that he truly cared. Online forums still discuss what could have been. What if Cavill had gotten Man of Steel 2? What if Snyder's original Justice League arc was allowed to continue? What if we actually got a world where Superman stood at the center of the DCEU as originally intended? Some fans have organized their own campaigns, celebrating Cavill's Superman with fan edits, tribute videos, and even continuing the story through fan fiction. They aren't trying to sabotage the new film. They're just refusing to forget what they were promised. And while David Corenswet is now Superman, he has big boots to fill. Not just on screen, but in the hearts of millions. Because sometimes being a hero isn't about wearing the cape. It's about never letting go of the one who did it best. In the wake of Cavill's exit, something interesting happened. Fans began to rally around him, not just as an actor, but as a person who stood for something. His gracious departure, his continued positivity, and his refusal to throw DC under the bus spoke volumes. Meanwhile, Cavill hasn't disappeared. He's now producing and starring in the Warhammer 40,000 series with Amazon, a passion project he's dreamed of for years. He's embracing roles where he has creative control, where his love for storytelling and lore can shine. In some ways, leaving Superman opened the door for him to become the hero of his own story. And that's what separates Cavill from the rest. He didn't chase clout, he didn't complain publicly, he respected the character, the fans, and even the people who let him go. It's rare in Hollywood to see that kind of integrity. So while Warner Brothers may have fired their Superman, Henry Cavill never stopped being one. Because real heroes don't need a cape to inspire. They just need to stand tall when it would have been easier to fall. So here we are. Henry Cavill is no longer Superman. The DCEU is gone. And the new era has officially begun with new Superman movie and David Corenswet at the helm. Whether Cavill returns in a different role or leaves superhero movies behind forever, one thing is certain, he'll always be our Superman. Did DC make the right call, or did they just lose their greatest hero? Let me know what you think in the comments.